So, you're about to send that follow-up email, that dreaded follow-up email, again, for the third time this week. And you're wondering why nobody is responding. Now, here's the brutal truth, brothers and sisters. In the creative industry, brute force does not work. Persistence without strategy is just annoying. It's just noise. In this conversation you're about to hear, I reveal the one question that I keep asking myself that changes everything for me. This is the filter that separates the musicians who get frustrated and don't get any jobs from the musicians who patiently persist and ultimately get hired. It's simple, it's brutal, and it'll save you from sabotaging relationships before they even start. Now, if you want the exact email scripts and templates that actually get responses, I invite you to check out the Playbook, which is a step-by-step system that our musicians use to break into our business. And it'll cost you less than a burrito, much less than the fancy sushi lunches that I had to pay for when I was getting into the business 20 years ago. This is a simple, proven system that has turned cold contacts into six-figure brand deals without being pushy, without being desperate, and without being annoying. Now let's dive into the conversation.
You have a personality that works. People like you. That I think, but you even talk about even you sending those emails where you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. It's just like too pushy, I guess. Like, how did you pull yourself out of that? How can someone quickly, what should they say to themselves so that they don't press enter on that email that's just going to kill the relationship immediately?
Here's a simple answer, man. Is it working?
Yeah.
Because if it's working, I would not be sitting here saying, don't send pushy emails. If pushy emails are working in the creative industry with discerning creative directors or music house producers, by all means, send 1,000 pushy emails. That's the only thing you got to ask in your life and in your work. Is it working? And do not accept emotional, oh, you'll be fine. That kind of answers like that your family or friends give you. Be brutally, ruthlessly honest with yourself and define like metrics, criteria, like for what will tell you if it's working or not. If people are responding to your emails and you're getting connections, then it's working. Then continue doing what's working. But ask yourself always, is it working? And if it's not, you need to figure out what's going to work. In broad strokes, again, what's going to work is probably what works for the person that you're emailing and not for you. So the sooner you can start learning how to think that way, the sooner you're going to have effects and results. And even to this day, I catch myself doing things that are not keeping the other person in mind, which means we're trying to be selfish. We're trying to shortcut. Man, it's actually harder that way. Trust me. Even though it seems easier to shortcut and to do it the lazy way and just to focus on yourself and just to get that email out, actually it's harder in the long term because number one, you're not getting good feedback. You're not getting energy back. You're not getting people giving you a high five. You become all alone in this thing. You're not getting emails back. So like, what's harder? I literally would prefer to work harder in the beginning and like architect something that maybe takes a while longer, but to literally have people saying, yo, that was amazing. And then you get that back and that keeps you moving because it gives you energy, it keeps you sustainable, it keeps you moving. So it actually makes it easier in the long run to make it harder in the short run. Yo, there's a short right there.
Yeah. 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 Front load the work. Yeah. It gets tough because when you send a push email or basically a message that you wouldn't like to see, which is asking for your time, too much to read. It kind of invades your day, basically, is the kind of message we're talking about. I think you do have to ask yourself, is this working? But I also worry about, you know, seeing that it's not working and actually constricting even more.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Good
Like
point.
pushing even harder the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah, I totally hear your point. I think it's a good one. I've seen people do this. I've literally seen people like double down on the grit and the willpower and the aggressiveness. Um, I think maybe this works if you're a used car salesperson or if you sell used carpets at your local strip mall. Even then, you're gonna have difficulty, man. I used to work at a used car dealership. My job was to clean cars that came from bottoms of lakes. So I literally had to clean the fish from out of the headlight. Because they were inside of the headlight. Like there's a swimming pool inside of the headlight. And yeah, they were able to like sell, some old ladies on those kind of cars. But the old lady came back, because her car stopped in the middle of nowhere and so it just never works, man. Being pushy, but that's a car dealership. So, okay, maybe it works there more often than it doesn't. But the whole point is our industry is a creative industry, man. Force doesn't work. Brute force is not the freaking answer in a creative industry. In the creative industry, delight is the answer. Subtlety is the answer. Cleverness is the answer. Unexpectedness is the answer. Surprise is the answer. Smiling is the answer. Goosebump is the answer. Holy shit is the answer. I mean, if you're trying to get a job in our industry just by brute force alone, it's not the currency, man. It's simply not the currency. I appreciate your willpower. I appreciate your steadfastness, your consistency, but people don't pay other people millions for consistency. Like, be consistent in the fact that you don't share public facing work in our industry unless you believe it gives goosebumps. That's the consistency we need. We don't need the consistency and because again, like sending an email to someone 10 times, that's not delightful. Yes, there's consistency there, but it's also like lazy because I know how little energy it takes to automate a freaking email. We've done it. You automate a stupid email and the robots send it for you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, okay, you're creative. Show me. You're a genius composer. Don't talk about it. Show me, right? There's a Polish saying that says, przykład lepszy niż wykład. It says it all right there.
You're gonna have to help me with that one, Tommy.
I know, that was a whole joke. Well, it sounds better in Polish, przykład lepszy niż wykład. Let me see if I can remix it into English in a way that will make it sense. The rough translation is like an example is better than a lecture.
Mm.
Give me an example, not a lecture. Show me, give me proof and not a lecture. That's
Yeah.
what it's basically saying. So I think that's what it should be, man, every single time. Don't talk about it. Create the conditions for the person that you're talking to feel like they matter, like they're appreciated, like they can express themselves and like they're going to be helped by you. Just somehow when I receive the kind of email that says the 11th email that says, trust me, I'm here again. I'm just like, I don't want that energy in my studio, man. I know you're meaning well. I'm not putting anyone down, but seriously, think about it, man. Who do you want in your studio? Do you want that relentless, forceful energy? Or do you want the persistent, but yet polite and definitely inspiring energy in your studio? Who would you be glad if they knocked on your door unexpectedly? Try to be that person. That's probably the best advice that I can give.